Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter and now on Vero at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Monday's edition of the dceu Daily. The only thing that bothers me about the Flash movie leaks fallout, there's one thing, and that's Henry Cavill potentially not being in the Flash movie and just being in one little bit with old footage on a TV screen. If that's true, they are simply not going to get away with it. The rest of the setup that the leaks are saying they're going to do, the brand new Justice League, doesn't bother me. Having Batgirl and Keaton as Batman and Batgirl in the Justice League is pretty cool to me, because Ben Affleck simply doesn't want to do Batman after the Flash movie. The only reason he came back, and you people should actually see this, right? The only reason he came back was to finish off his Batman arc, because without any Snyderverse there, the Flash movie was his only opportunity to do so. So Affleck isn't going to be Batman after the Flash, because Affleck doesn't want to be Batman after the Flash. So they came up with an idea. I know, they said, let's bring back Michael Keaton. A pretty cool idea. He's an iconic Batman. Doesn't matter how old he is, he's in great shape. And as I've said on other videos, he could beat most of you up. He's in great shape. It isn't an issue. It's a great solution to the problem of not having Affleck. To those of you saying you'd rather a younger Batman in the dceu, you've got a younger Batman in Earth 2 with Robert Pattinson. You don't need another one. And I know that Reeves and his people have said they've got nothing to do with the multiverse, the central multiverse universe. I personally don't believe that. There's a lot of people saying, I'm so glad that Batman's not involved in the central universe. Yes, he's got his Earth 2. You know, Reeves is going to do whatever he wants. But I think in the future there is a potential for Robert Pattinson's Batman to play with others. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. So the rest of it, it doesn't bother me. But because let's think about this, by the way, before we get into the Cavill situation. You know, the Snyderverse not being part of the Central Universe canon anymore, if that is indeed what they're doing, and as I said yesterday, I don't believe it's being totally deleted from canon. I just think they're giving Zack his own pocket universe, just like they've given Matt Reeves his own Earth. But even if they were to delete the Snyderverse totally, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop you and me fighting to restore the Snyderverse. It doesn't in fact stop Zack from making Justice League and Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. It doesn't stop any of that. And we heard Zack last year talking about it being an Elseworld thing. So that doesn't bother me. I can still fight to restore the Snyderverse, and Zack can still make his movies, whether it's part of canon or not. And Zack Snyder, when he was talking about the Snyderverse being Elseworld, clearly understood what was happening in the Flash movie. He's got producer's credits on these films, so he knows what's going on. He understood, and that's why he was talking about the Snyderverse being part of an Elseworld. So I can accept all their plans. I can accept everything that's been leaked. But I can't accept the fact that they're saying that Henry Cavill will no longer be Superman in the DC Extended Universe. You can't just have Supergirl as part of the Justice League. You can't have no Superman. Now we know that they're creating two Superman of Colour projects, right? The Ta-Nehisi Coates J.J. Abrams project and the Michael B. Jordan project on HBO Max, and that's great. But to tell you and me that there's no more Henry Cavill OG Superman anymore is simply unacceptable. That's the thing I don't like. That's the thing that's problematic to me. And this isn't a thing that's just upsetting the people they don't like, aka the Snyderverse fandom. This is upsetting everyone. And let me make this absolutely clear right now. They are not going to get away with deleting Henry Cavill, right? It's one thing to have Henry Cavill in the Flash movie in new sequences and then delete him. That's toxic enough, but at least he's there for one last time, as Ben Affleck has been given the opportunity to be as well. But to say it right, we're going to have him in some old footage on a TV screen and then we're going to delete him is utterly problematic. And here's the difference between Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. Ben Affleck has stated publicly he no longer wants to do this. He doesn't want to be in blockbusters anymore. He's got his opportunity to say goodbye to his fans in The Flash. The man doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. You can't force him to, and I can't force him to. We respect his decision. We enjoy him in BVS and in the Snyder Cut, and we move on. And you've got Keaton and you've got Leslie Grace as Batgirl and Batman. It's fine. It's an interesting setup for a brand new Justice League. A brand new Justice League in the Central Universe is exciting. And we can still get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and Justice League 3, which I feel is still a possibility in a pocket universe. So the rumours about the Snyderverse are irrelevant to me. They're things I can explain away. They're things I can say to you, look, they're going to be somewhere. They're still going to exist, and there's still potential for Zack to make his movies. My only issue isn't these so-called future plans that I actually think are pretty cool, like Michael Keaton's Batman and Black Canary working together. I think that's pretty cool and pretty exciting, and I think a lot of people would see the potential of that. As I've already said, Affleck doesn't want to do it anymore, so they had to do something. So I'm fine with this. My only problem is the Henry Cavill situation. And when I read these leaks, I was just a little bit depressed for a long time. And I was just going through my Twitter feed and thinking, if this is true, there's no getting away with this. So, you know, and it's really good that people are, you know, atting Warner Brothers Pictures and letting them know that they think this is unacceptable. But here's the thing again, you know, we're working off of rumours. Don't forget, there was a very, very big insider who was saying that during the shooting of the Flash movie, he saw Cavill and Affleck shooting together, right? So we don't know how true this is. We do know that they even wanted Ray Fisher to be in the Flash movie before the upset, before the fallout between the two parties. He was going to be in the movie, even having Ezra Miller mentioning him when he cameoed on the Flash TV series on Crisis on Infinite Earths. So we know they wanted Ray as Cyborg. We know they're having Wonder Woman, right? We know they've got Batfleck. And it's probably a reality that Aquaman, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, will be in the Flash movie as well. So all these Justice League members are going to be in this movie. So why wouldn't Henry Cavill be in it? Because we know that Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers have got an uncomfortable kind of relationship. But it's just like the situation with Snyder. Warner Brothers have seen the money that the Snyder Cut has brought in. They don't care that they don't like him. They don't care that he doesn't like them. Or the fans don't like Warner Brothers for the way they treated Snyder. It's about business. It's about money. And this is why Snyder's universe will be somewhere in the multiverse, but not in the central universe. And as a fan said to me yesterday, it may not be their central universe, but it'll be ours. And that's fair enough. That's cool. But, you know, as I say, Henry Cavill is so popular as Superman. Even people who don't like his films, don't like him in the films. No, let me put that again. The people who don't like the films Cavill was in, you know, still like Henry Cavill as Superman. A very famous name, John Glover, who's done, you know, put his voice to DC animated series and played Lionel Luthor in Smallville, believes he wasn't in good Superman movies, and John got a lot of hate for this. I said to John yesterday on Twitter that I didn't agree with him saying that Cavill hasn't been in good Superman movies, he hasn't been in good DC movies, but that's his opinion, and we're still mates, and I still respect him for what he did on Smallville. You know, a differing opinion shouldn't be a call to arms, shouldn't be a call to war. People should be intelligent enough to understand a differing opinion. A differing opinion isn't an attack on you. It's just their opinion, and that's fair enough. You know, John Glover is a die-hard DC fan, clearly. And that's why it was his great pleasure to do Smallville. So he's allowed to have his opinions, as you and me are allowed to have our opinions. And that's how it works. So I don't know whether to believe this, that Henry Cavill is only in old footage in the Flash movie, when a week before they were talking about Barry Allen going back to Man of Steel and warning him about all the collateral damage in the film. Not obviously as a film, but as a reality, you know what I mean. But then a week later, they're talking about him only being in one piece of old footage. So what is it? This film hasn't been screened for anyone. I don't know. Look, it's easy how this could have happened. If this is true, an insider could have gone to these people. It's interesting, right? I still feel the leaks are half-truths and they're not saying everything. So, look, because people like Ezra Miller have denied that Zack's universe is being deleted, but no one's denying that Cavill's not in the movie. Do you understand? And what I'm saying to you, if Cavill isn't in the movie, the Flash is dead. The Flash movie will be dead. And you'll say, well, Mick, it's a Flash movie. But the point is, they're putting all these DC characters from these different live-action iterations in this film. And if they leave out Cavill and they delete Cavill, that's a problem for the movie. This movie has to win for them. They're rebranding the universe. Rebranding without Cavill not only doesn't make sense, you know, it's utterly toxic. There's no reason. Henry Cavill is a great Superman. He's very talented. He's very popular. And they are going to, you know, if you think about Spider-Man No Way Home, and I hate all this comparison, oh, Marvel are doing things perfectly and the DCEU are not. I don't like that. It's very, very bargain basement thinking. But Spider-Man No Way Home was about giving people what they wanted. You know, uniting all these versions of Spider-Man and Spider-Man's villain. Kevin Feige even saying he couldn't do a better job at Doc Ock and Green Goblin than Sam Raimi. That's nuts, right? He actually admitted that. I mean, that was very big of him to say that. So he brought these other versions in, and that's very exciting for the Marvel fans. Of course it is. And I'm a big fan of the Sam Raimi iteration of everything he did in the Spider-Man universe. But if you look at the Flash movie, which is a very similar movie to Spider-Man No Way Home, if Spider-Man No Way Home is giving to people, and from these leaks, and again, I believe these are half-truths, but from these leaks, we're talking about taking away things from people, not giving them to people. And this is a problem. So I will reiterate again that I'm fine with all the leaks, the new Justice League, what they're planning to do. It's all very exciting for me as an all-round DC fan, because I love Zack Snyder's DCEU, but I'm not going to hate on this movie because it removes Zack Snyder's universe away from the universe, from the central universe, because it doesn't really matter. Because that doesn't stop Hugh from fighting to restore the Snyderverse. It doesn't stop the restoration of the Snyderverse. But removing Henry Cavill from the movie, not removing him, not having him in the movie and having him in old stock footage is very, very toxic, when he has said publicly that he wants to play Superman again. He wants to be in a movie again. He wants to be in several movies again. And we don't know if there's an agreement for cameos or not. And one minute it's very positive for Henry Cavill, and then we hear big leaks like this. But you have to understand where these leaks are coming from. They're not coming from anyone respectable. As I said yesterday, these leaks are half-truths, and they have come from a Twitter account that was formed in October 2021, and Grace Randolph, who's very hit and miss. Sometimes she's right, and sometimes she's wrong, and we'll never know if they wanted to do Flashpoint in the Wonder Woman movie. But considering they did Flashpoint anyway, it could be either that she lied and she wanted to stir the shit about Wonder Woman 84, but she could be right and they went back and removed that. We will never know. It's the same as Birds of Prey, when she said that they were going to have Ewan McGregor's Black Mask go after the diamond because there was recorded footage of his private parts. When they heard her release it and they heard the reaction to it, maybe they went back and removed it. We know the production of Birds of Prey was an absolute clusterfuck, and rightly rightly, Warner Brothers were very concerned about that movie, and they brought someone in to kind of fix it. And to a point they did, with still the SJW narrative remaining in the film, because Margot Robbie would have went nuts if that was removed, and they wanted to please Margot Robbie. That's why she was given, a production to work on, so she could, feed out her poison, her SJW narrative. And that's what that film's all about, and that's why that film didn't do very well. And that's why Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn isn't as loved as it once was. People still love Margot. I still love Margot, and I think she's a great Harley, but people are not interested in this extreme left kind of propaganda in their entertainment. And at least if you're going to do it like they did in the old days, 30, 40 years ago. Do it so people don't really notice it. So you can have a wry grin about what you're doing, but you're not upsetting your audience and you're not losing money. After all, entertainment is a business, isn't it? So the only thing that bothers me is the Henry Cavill leaks. So what I would say about it, don't right now take anything at face value. There are people trying to make a lot of money, build their platforms over the Flash movie because it's easy. Because the Flash movie is working on the prefix of keeping everything secret, they're not going to come out and confirm to you whether Cavill's in this film, whether his Superman is being deleted. But words like Batgirl is replacing Batman are not true, considering that Ben Affleck doesn't want to play Batman after The Flash, and we're going to have an older Batman in the DCEU with a younger character, Batgirl. It's a Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi scenario. Keaton is Obi-Wan, and she's kind of Luke Skywalker, and it's kind of exciting. And as I said earlier, they really didn't have any choice, did they? With Ben Affleck not wanting to be Batman after The Flash. Let me repeat that to those of you at the back. Ben Affleck doesn't want to do it anymore. He turned down a chance to make his Batman movie. He's done. He was burnt by it a few years back. He wanted to come back to finish it off. I think he will finish his character off in a great way and everybody will be happy. He's not been fired. He's not purposely being deleted. The studio like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and WB Pictures have a great relationship. No matter what hot takes you put on Twitter, whatever propaganda you spread, you can't change those facts. But the facts of the Henry Cavill situation are weird. WB Pictures in the United States didn't wish him a happy birthday. They always wish people a happy birthday. Other WB accounts all over the world did wish Henry a happy birthday. So it's very, very strange. But I think they must know by now, if Henry Cavill is removed from the DC Extended Universe, they're going to have a problem. Because you can still have a Supergirl in a Justice League and have Henry Cavill's Superman there as well. They are not going to get away with it. You can, people are going to love these Supermen of colour. They're going to be well made and great. But we want our OG Superman as well. It's as simple as that. And finally on this conversation, I just want to say that just be careful what you believe. Be careful what people say to you. Remember that people are trying to, as I say, build platforms from your naivety, that they want to make money from you. They will tell you that they care about you. These are the words they will use, that they care about you, that they love this stuff. They love what you love, whether it's Soups or Grace Randolph or Daniel RPK. These are not good nerds. These are people taking advantage of you to make money. It's capitalism at the end of the day, and I accept it. It doesn't mean they're like serial killers or anything, but they're not people you can trust. Now, most of the stuff that Daniel RPK says is true, but sometimes he's wrong. He liked a couple of the posts saying all these leaks about the Flash movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. We just don't know. But all I'm going to say to you right here and right now, if Henry Cavill isn't in the Flash, if Henry Cavill is deleted as Superman in the Flash movie, no one's going to accept it. The Flash movie will fail, the DC Extended Universe will end, and you'll just have the Batman Earth. That's it. It will be over. And then Zaslav and Discovery will come in and they will bring Cavill back. They will restore the Snyderverse. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And they will create a new shared universe. And they, like they've done in their Discovery company, will put the best people in charge of their platforms. And this is what's going to happen at the new WB Pictures, the WB Pictures of Discovery. That's the future. So, you know, the people at Warner Brothers Pictures now can do what they want. They can build their universe. But if the audience, if the consumer doesn't like it, if their plans fail, then they're gone and their ideas are out the window. That's how business works. This is what happened with The Last Jedi. Publicly, they supported Rian Johnson. Where's his trilogy? Where is he? He's now making a Knives Out movie exclusively for Netflix, not even for the theatrical system. Think about that for a minute. Knives Out was a great success in movie theatres, but now it's an exclusive Netflix project. How the mighty have fallen. What happened? What happened to the sequel trilogy? Nothing. It finished, it was a failure, and then you get Favreau and Feige involved in Star Wars, and Star Wars slowly but surely is rebranding itself, right? This is what happens. Patty Jenkins has been sacked from Rogue Squadron. No one's made an official announcement, just that filming's been postponed, but she's been fired because she's creatively bankrupt. This is what happens. In the end, if you hit their bottom line, whatever your politics are, they will dispose of you in a clean way where they never publicly speak about you. So, we know this, the Snyder Cut was successful. We know Henry Cavill is a very popular version of Superman. So if they've made a Flash movie without Henry Cavill, we've got up until November, right, for them to fix that if this is the case. Now, a lot of times these leaks are put out there to see how the public actually respond. It's a tester. The studio could be behind this to see if they really need Cavill going forward. They have now found out, in no uncertain terms, whether it's a Snyderverse fan, whether it's a DC fan, everyone wants Henry Cavill as Superman. As I say, you can do everything else. You can do your Superman of colour, you can have Michael Keaton's Batman, you can have Batgirl, you can have Sasha Calle's Supergirl in the Justice League. I'm excited for all of that. All the leaks I have no problems with. But there's only one part of that leak that I'm upset about, and that's Henry Cavill no longer being Superman. And Warner Brothers are going to have to do something about this. They cannot release that film and delete Henry Cavill's Superman. The rest of it, I believe they can get away with. I genuinely do. I think it's negatable. It's negotiable. It's fine. A lot of their plans sound actually quite exciting, right? But getting rid of Henry Cavill, not having a Superman in the Justice League, nah, you ain't going to get away with it. As I said yesterday, the only way they get away with that is if Brandon Routh replaces Henry's Superman. That's the only way. But no Superman in a Justice League, you ain't never getting away with that. Now, since the Flash leaks, we've seen a couple of images posted by Andy Muschietti. This is one of Ezra Miller in his mocap suit, which is really, really cool. You can't see it that well, but that's Andy, Barbara and Ezra there, so that's great. Obviously, they're going to do that kind of stuff. And there's another one. Here we are. Barry and Nora Allen paint a happy picture in a new behind-the-scenes image from The Flash, which finds Ezra Miller and Maribel Verdú bonding. So this is pretty cool as well. I tell you what, she's a yummy mummy, isn't she? But apparently a very good actor, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how the relationship of that works once Barry Allen goes back in time to bring his mother back to life. So that's great casting as well. So yeah, you can understand why they're posting these pictures, because it's kind of a reaction to what's been leaked. But unless you can post a picture up of Henry Cavill and Ezra Miller standing together in new footage, you're not going to wish away these leaks. You have to respond. You have to do something, because this is us. Look, as I say, the rest of the stuff I don't care about, because there's ways round it. but Henry Cavill, not in the Flash movie, utterly problematic, not going to get away with it. And it's very interesting as we talk about Brandon Routh, because he's done a bit of an interview where he talks about why he did Crisis on Infinite Earths. So if we can click onto this, we can read this. It's coming, it's coming. Brandon Routh calls his Superman return in Arrowverse a healing experience. Reprising the role of Superman in the Arrowverse's Crisis on Infinite Earths was a healing experience after Superman Returns, says Brandon Routh by Richard Fink of Screen Rant. Brandon Routh calls returning to the role of Superman in the Arrowverse a healing experience. Routh starred as the iconic superhero in 2006's Superman Returns, which was set to restart the Superman film franchise. Despite making $391.1 million at the worldwide box office, the film was seen as a disappointment, and Warner Brothers opted to reboot the property once more, recasting the role of Superman with Henry Cavill in 2013's Man of Steel. Funny how history repeats itself, isn't it? They binned Brandon Routh when they shouldn't have done, and it looks like maybe they're binning Henry Cavill. If the leaks are true, I'm not sure that they are at this point. Routh would go on to play Ray Palmer, aka The Atom, in the Arrowverse on various CW series, including Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. In 2019, as the Arrowverse was setting up their big event series, Crisis on Infinite Earth, they announced that not only would Routh play the Atom, but would also reprise his role as Superman in the series, this time with a Kingdom Come inspired look. When Crisis on Infinite Earths aired, it was 13 years since the release of Superman Returns. It was a chance for the audience and the actor to get some proper closure on the character. During an interview on a podcast, Inside of You, with Michael Rosenbaum, Routh talked about how it was a healing experience to be Superman again in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Routh spoke about the insecurities making Superman Returns, but figured when he played the character again, he would be able to relax more. Even though the sequel never came, he said part of what made coming back so easy was because of how positive the fan reaction was to his return, as he felt he didn't have to prove himself anymore. The full quote is below. The first time was so much pressure that I was trying not to look at and couldn't even conceive of. I was like, I will appreciate the next one, relax into the next one and get through this. I have a lot of gratitude for having the opportunity to do this again, for all the parties that made it possible. The first day I came onto set shooting the Batwoman episode, and it was the first time I was appearing as Superman in it, and I just thought I've already done it. Even if this is the only scene, I'm doing the emotional wound or scar that was left from my experience on Superman Returns was mostly healed because of all the lead up to that. The costume fitting, the wonderful warm fan reaction, people were excited and appreciative of having me return to play the character, and was validating and healing in so many ways that being there that first day was the most magical of times, and I was able to relax and appreciate the experience because I didn't have to prove anything. Just being there, having done that, not having been the character for so long, and it was still thought of, I guess highly enough to reprise even for that little bit, was validation I didn't know that I needed, I guess, and that was very healing. Routh has been open in the past about the struggles of making Superman Returns and has spoken about the difficulties working with Bryan Singer on set. Routh even admitted that he was heartbroken a sequel to Superman Returns didn't happen. He explained the studio's decision to not move forward on a sequel was because of the film's massive budget compared to its box office gross. The whole process made Routh originally uncertain about returning as Superman once more in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but in the end it paid off, as his return was met with positive reactions from audiences and critics alike. Since then, Routh has expressed interest in reprising his role as Superman again, possibly in a Kingdom Come inspired television series. The DCEU is set to explore the multiverse even more in the upcoming film The Flash. With the return of Michael Keaton's Batman, an appearance by Routh's Superman would fit right in and alter the wider legacy of the DC Films universe. Routh's time as Superman may have been short-lived, but like many of the actors who have worn the cape before him, he's now part of the character's rich legacy, and to many was their first introduction to Superman. As long as there is still interest by both the actor and the fans, Routh's Superman could always return again in the Arrowverse or another project. I still believe that Routh will be involved in the Flash movie, and it's supposed to be a big surprise. We know what they're doing. We know they're bringing different iterations of these DC characters into this film, and I believe this could be the version of Superman to replace Henry Cavill. Now, I don't want anyone to replace Henry Cavill, but I tell you what, there's a little bit of justice in this, isn't there? Not that I want to lose Cavill or Cavill did anything wrong getting the role, but you know, do you remember when we were all fighting for Brandon to play Superman in Man of Steel with that petition, and it didn't happen? And now, how ironic would it be that the person who replaced him, he could be replacing them? That's the entertainment industry, everyone, and that's how it works. Well, believe it or not, we do have some DC Extended Universe content hitting HBO Max in January, and it's James Gunn's Peacemaker, which I'm so utterly excited about. Now, this will be exclusively on HBO Max. I don't know if a country like where I am right now, or the UK, doesn't have HBO Max, I don't know how we're going to see it, but there's obviously going to be a way, and I'll just have to look out to see how I can watch that. Of course, it's utterly challenging these days with streaming, because if you don't have the streaming service in your country, now if you're in a country that has Sky TV, then maybe you'll be able to watch it on Sky Atlantic or on Sky Movies or something like that. But James Gunn has revealed that Peacemaker's episode 6 is his favourite of the bunch, sharing that it holds a special place in his heart. Peacemaker season 1 is only 8 episodes, but it seems that episode 6 will be a doozy. The HBO Max series premieres on January the 13th. So that's huge. As I've said, and so many of us have said already, this year is a huge year for the DC live action universe. This is the reboot. This is the rebrand. How James Gunn's universe and James Gunn himself fits into this brave new world, I don't know, but I do know by the end of this calendar year, we will know where everything fits in. We will know if there's a future for the DC Extended Universe, if the rebrand has even worked. We've been discussing it for the whole video. I've said there's certain things that they simply can't get rid of, like Henry Cavill, but at this moment in time, we just don't know what's true and what is not. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, au revoir, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen.